Thunder! 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 Thundercats? Ho! Yes, that's right, friends. I am back with another toy-centric episode of It Crept from the 80s. Oh, my goodness, I am your host, Chris Seaver. And finally, we have this episode. It's been sitting in the chamber, and I guess future me has decided to hit launch, post. And so here we are with the new episode. Toy-centric, as I said, and clearly, as you read, you saw in the thumbnail, you heard, this episode is about Thundercats. This is mostly to show off the wondrous toys from Super 7. But I can talk a little bit about my history with Thundercats. And as you saw with the Masters of the Universe Origins / cartoon collection video that's down below on the channel, I'm going to talk about in individual videos about some of my favorite toy / cartoon properties growing up that deserve their own little episode. And I think, like a lot of us collectors, or like a lot of us kids who, again, I was born in 77, grew up in the 80s. I think we all have our favorites. We have like top 10s of everything. My lists are far beyond that, far more vast. But the Thundercats are in my top 5 of toys that I loved, franchise that I loved growing up. Along with Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, Mask, and the Real Ghostbusters. And then, it continues, but I'm talking about like right up top, those first 5, Thundercats is probably number 5 for me. And, it came at the right time, 1985, busting out the gate. So, I was 8 years old. It was perfect. Just another property to come along and sweep the Seavage off his feet. And the Thundercats did that. And so my Thundercats collecting back then, it was 2 years. Like a lot of these franchises, they lasted 2 to 3 years. Some of them lasted, 5, 6, 7 years. It was wild. But Thundercats really took hold for a good 2 years there. And I wouldn't say that it overshadowed certain things because, coming out the gate as well in 1985 was Mask, which is also up there for me, is in the top 5. And boy, did I love Mask. But Thundercats was more akin to Masters of the Universe, which I was still getting, certainly at that time, I think around the same time, 87, for both Masters and Thundercats, I was kind of done with them. But as far as still getting things, and I certainly didn't have full collections of the line. I had what I had. I had what was bought for me, either just random presents, birthday or Christmas, or if it was a chore thing, whatever money I had from the chores, I would go get something. So I had select group of the Thundercats. It wasn't like a vast, it wasn't all of them, but I had a good portion of them. I never had the Thunder Tank, unfortunately, which I wanted so bad, but I had a lot of the accoutrements. I had a lot of the accessories and battle things that would be attached to the Thundercats, things like that. Uh, I didn't have their fortress. I didn't have the cat's lair. I had friends who had the cat's lair, but I didn't. And quite honestly, I gotta say, even as a kid, I found the cat's lair and even Mumra's tomb to be quite wanting. If you compared those to any of the playsets from Star Wars, Masters of the Universe, even the Kenner's Real Ghostbusters line, you know, it wasn't as intricate and full blown awesome as some of those other playsets were. So I wasn't as disappointed not having those, but I had a good portion of the toys, of the figures. Like I loved the Berserkers, you know, I thought they were awesome. We never got any of the Lunatics, and they were a favorite villain of mine as a child. I thought their designs were amazing. And in a way, a little bit cooler just because of what they were than the Berserkers, but I had the Berserker toys. And so for my recollecting of Thundercats vintage, again, I only go after the things that I absolutely had or maybe really wanted but didn't get. And that's not a part of the full line. I do want to recollect the Berserkers, you know. I didn't have Hatchie Man, and so I don't want Hatchie Man, you know. So yeah, there's certain characters that I want back. Like I had Snowman of Hook Mountain. He was, and actually I would use him in various other lines as well. And that's what we did. I think most of us 80s kids, maybe some of you didn't, but I certainly did. And I cross-pollinated a lot of my action figures and my lines. So Masters of the Universe was playing with Thundercats, you know. My mask stuff was with Star Wars, you know. It all sort of cross-pollinated, you know, Centurions and Sectors and all of that stuff as well. It was amalgamation of everything, and you know, your imagination was unbound. So it was a lot of you know, He-Man with Lion-O and stuff like that, regardless of their size. It didn't matter. So like Snowman of Hook Mountain would go well, you know, if I were using him as a snow monster for He-Man, or to go against my little, you know, Kenner action figures that were with the Wampa, you know, things like that. But yeah, there were some ancillary characters that a lot of toys did, a lot of franchises did back in the days. Like if they were in an episode of the cartoon once, you know, then that's an action figure, you know. So, but I did have the main line. I had the main Thundercats, and I had most of the mutants with Mumra. And I'm going to show you what I have left. These are actually my Thundercats growing up. And it's funny, I was looking through some photos recently from, you know, decades ago. And sure enough, in the background, there's my Thundercats. Like I was always displaying stuff. And I saw my Bill and Ted toys, you know, saw my He-Mans, my original Masters, which I still kept. But some of these I let my son play with when he was young. I passed down a lot of my 80s toys to him, and he began to as you would do, he began to destroy a lot of this stuff because he was, he was a toddler or just a little kid, and he's playing and he's being crazy and evil, or he's like using his markers and he's drawing like wounds and stuff so some were just lost, and I could never get back because he just destroyed them. But as I was watching this happen, I started to pull the toys back. And I took him away from him. So he got his own stuff. And eventually he did get his own Masters of the Universe line and stuff like that. He could do whatever he wanted with. But so these are my Thundercats. Mumra. And I still have, I don't think I have any of the, I don't think I have batteries in here. That when you touch the back, their eyes would glow. This was oh, look at my little finger would go in here. The ring. And the eyes would glow. This is all that's left of Lion-O. Don't have his claw glove, claw gauntlet, or Sword of Omens. They were sadly destroyed. My Tigra. My Panthro. He's skanking. Rude boy. And then Slythe, which is one of my favorite villain mutants in Thundercats. Such a cool design. Toy, cartoon, the whole thing. Loved it. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. I mean, if you've seen the Rankin and Bass Hobbit stuff, Lord of the Rings stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Very suspiciously looked like Slythe. Wily Kit that came with my Chitara. Don't have Chitara anymore. Wily Cat came with my Tigra. And then Snarf, this PVC Snarf came with Lion-O. And that's all I have left of my originals. So I want the Berserkers. I want Chitara. I want Jaga back. I love Jaga. I want Vulture Man. I want Monkeyan. You know, I really don't want too much. I would love to get a Thunder Tank, but I don't think that's going to happen. And that's the same with these Super 7s. Oh my gosh, I want that Thunder Tank so bad. That would be a cream come true. So expensive though, but oof, I want it. This is survived from my collection growing up. I used to get the Thundercats magazine. It did not last long, but this is mine from my childhood, and the poster in the back right here is from this. Summer 1987. Look at that, $1.95. But this is still from, years ago. I went back to my house in Wellsville and I pulled the rest of my stuff that was salvageable from my 2 bedrooms growing up. And this was in there. A relic of the past. I mentioned Rankin Bass. Rankin Bass not only are some of my favorite, animators, Animagic, and animators just in general, all the holiday stuff that they did. that I grew up with. But maybe people don't know that Rankin Bass responsible for Thundercats. It was one of their cartoons. Same with Silverhawks. Um, and if you look at that animation, and if you listen to the voices, you will clearly hear and see, oh yeah, this is Rankin and Bass. But a good little history of the cartoon and how it came to be is in this amazing book, this Rankin and Bass book. This is a beautiful, wonderful history, a tome of Rankin Bass. But they go through Thundercats. And and how it all came to be. It's incredible. And then they go into Silverhawks as well. But yeah. So this was nice. I mean, I got this probably, man, almost a decade ago. So it was a nice surprise to see the Thundercat stuff in there. And of course, I have the animated series on DVD, and the remake from 2011 on Blu-ray. This is a quality show, and it sucks that it got canceled when it came out. So there's only one season, but it was phenomenal. I didn't get any of the toys from the line. I didn't particularly think they were too awesome looking, but the show was great. The show was phenomenal. And then, just recently, of course, the Hall of Omens, the toy guide. Finally, a toy guide for the Thundercats. And I went through the whole thing. Ooh, this is one of my favorite top spinner, one of my favorite berserkers, and unfortunately, being stupid, just in the last 5 years, I ended up selling my original top spinner, and now I wish I hadn't. So it happened with my hammer hand as well. I sold them at a show, at a toy show, very stupidly. But I poured over this thing, read the whole thing. It's pretty awesome. Very extensive. It goes into so much of the merchandise and the toys, and of course the stage show. But yeah, man, pretty awesome. And you can get this at Thundercats Toy Guide, Thundercats Toys, Thundercats Toy Guide, all the social medias, ThundercatsToyGuide.com. It's pretty awesome. But now let's get to these figures from Super 7. As I said in the Masters episode, I love some of these companies that are doing their modern recreations of the toys of the 80s that we grew up with and the toys that we loved. And man, these Super 7 Thundercats toys are phenomenal. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal in sculpt, in the positions that they can do, the articulation, the paint, the way, yeah, just all around. I am blown away by these Super 7 action figures, and I am only getting the ones that I want, and unfortunately, some of the ones that I need are sort of already, quote unquote, like you know, not made anymore. So you got to get on the secondary market. For instance, I didn't get Slithe at first, and I didn't get Vulture Man at first. I want them bad, but now they're both upwards of $90 to $100 each, and I just I can't do that. I just can't do that. But I want them badly. I still need to get Snowman of Hook Mountain, which I want. But I do have the main cats. Ooh, and they're doing the Lunatics, and I want to get those. So hopefully I will. But and I didn't bring out all the. I mean, because they all come with extra hands, extra heads, extra weapons and shit like that. I always pack all of that, the extra stuff, away in baggies, and I put it in the 80s closet. So all of the baggies from all the toy extras from a lot of these lines are in bags in there. So I know where they are, and I'm not going to lose them. But let's start with Lion-O, the leader of the Thundercats. Just awesome. Just awesome figures. Awesome articulation. Oh, I think they're so cool. Paint job, amazing. And here is Chitara. Oof. Look at this Tigra. Look at that. Look at this. His whip. We got my man Panthro. Nope. He's got his nunchaku. Anyway, need to give him the proper hands to hold him. We're doing pretty good up there, standing in the positions that I had him. But yeah, anyway, just great sculpts. His muscles, get the pump, get the Panthro, by Jagger, get the pump, you do it, you get him the pump, and my caves and this, and speaking of Jagger, yeah, look at this. Moons of Thundera. Soft goods, cape, articulate. It's got wiring in it so you can have it whipping in the wind. Then we got this. Oh, can't forget Snarf. We got Snarf. Up on his tail. And then I just got in Wily Kit. He's a little bit wobbly up in there. Oh, that's so wobbly. And Wily Cat. And then we got, of course, Mumra, the ever-living. Look at this guy. Another soft goods. You can pose the... And that came with a little Malmut. We got Hammerhand. So far, one of the only Berserkers that they've made. I don't know why they don't have the other ones yet. And then we got Jackalman. And Monkeyin. There we go. They're incredible. I think they're just wowzers to me. I am so impressed with this line. Yeah, they're pricey. They are very pricey. And truth be told, these are all gifts. Whether it be birthday or Christmas, these are gifts from the wife throughout the years as they come, pre-orders and such. And there's no way I would have done this. And so any of the remaining Super 7 figures that I want, they all go on my wish lists. I've got 2 wish lists. And I just throw stuff up there year after year that's just stuff that I want. You know, nobody ever has to struggle when they say, "Hey, Chris, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, hey, man, the list's right there. Go nuts. So there they are. But yeah, man, Thundercats. Ho, what do you think? What do you guys have? This is nothing. I mean, I see some incredible collections out there online. You know, people. I'm happy with the slice of 80s magic that I have as far as the Thundercats go. And when these companies put out quality recreations, representations, their adaptations of these properties, and they look as badass as these do, I'm gonna want them. You know, same with the Origins line, same with that cartoon collection line from Masters of the Universe. I mean, these are spectacular. I don't whine when it comes to toy collecting. It's like silly to me. These are toys. You can either spend it or don't. The complaining is beyond bizarre to me. When essentially all you're going to do is put it up. You know, you're just going to put it up on a shelf and display it. But that's me. You know, people have their ways of collecting and their tolerances and intolerances. And, I'm just very chill. I'm quite happy with what a lot of these places are giving us. You know, it's good to be a geek. It's good to be a nerd. And if you're a child of the 80s, man, it's, you know, it's nonstop. It's it's all out there. You're adults now. We're all adults now, you know. I am on the cusp of 47. Not in here. Not in here. Maybe on the bold body parts and how my body's working. Maybe I'm 87. But in my brain, in my heart, I'm back there, a kid of the 80s. So let me know. Let me know your passion. What's your connection to Thundercats? Like it? Not like it? Didn't really get into it? Really super love it? Do you have any of these Super 7s? What do you think? Are you on that page with me? Or do you find, perish the thought, something wrong with them? My God. My God. How could you? Look. Oh, he's ever living. It's Mumra. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll have some more toy videos down the road. Like I said, I want to go through my tops, the things that I loved, like hardcore loved growing up in the 80s, those toy lines that spoke to me and to this day are in my tops. They're tops. So we got a nice list coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks you for continuing, the peeps who are always here, you know, through thick and thin. It doesn't matter how long it takes me to post videos. You're still here and you're still watching and you're still commenting and interacting with me. So I appreciate that. And thanks to all the new folk. Stick around. Again, these aren't, you're not getting videos every week. But I appreciate you coming in, hitting that subscribe, hitting those likes. You know, the more the merrier. Let's continue to enjoy the nostalgia of the 80s and the magic it held and still holds to us to this day. All right, until next time, guys. Ho, ho!